The performance, how do you think you did? Be honest.
Yeah, because you got a friend.
I feel like the performance was the best that we could do. I feel like we did give it our all.
Stop. If that's the best you can do, pack it up and go home now.
Welcome back to our special episode dedicated to the HBO Max competition show, Legendary. That was one of our judges, Law Roach. Law, why were you shaking your head? You don't remember that moment?
No, I remember.
Do you ever regret some of the direct criticism?
No, I don't. I never regret it. I regret sometimes that people don't take it at face. I mean, people take it at face value and don't listen to the lesson.
Yeah.
Because there's something in there. You know, it's just I'm just really quick-wit and like direct and you know.
I love it.
Yeah.
Well, guess who we have with us? The legendary co-executive producer of Legendary, Jack Mizrahi, who's a veteran of New York's ball scene. Jack previously worked on the award-winning FX show Pose and has been credited with helping to bring ballroom culture into the mainstream. Welcome to the family.
Thank you for having me.
We were talking earlier about, you know, not wanting to compare Pose to this because it is two different entities. And like anything, the ballroom culture is not a monolith. All of these stories can be captured in a different way. What was your mission, though, with the competition aspect of it? Did you think this is going to be American Idol for ball, or did you say they've never seen anything like it and they won't forget it? It'll be legendary.
First of all, I knew whatever we did as far as a competition show based on Ballroom was gonna blow the world's mind.
Yeah.
All we needed was the opportunity and we just needed the platform. And what Pose did so well for us was give us the platform, was give us the tools, was make people aware that we exist. A lot of people's first introduction to Ballroom happened with Paris is Burning in the 80s. And Pose brought us a little bit forward to that. And then now Legendary takes us even further.
Yeah. And Leiomy, what I also love is everybody's backstory. I mean, you've talked about being a trans woman. And the quote that when I read it, it just teared me. You said, felt like a black sheep. And I just read something about, you know, people always see the black sheep as the outsider, as a negative, but in fact, we should embrace that.
Yes, very true.
And that is the spirit of the show. When you see when you know your journey and see their stories, I know that it's a lot of emotions flood.
Yes, it makes me cry. Like a lot of, especially the first 2 seasons, I was crying down. I think by the 3rd season, I'm like, I want to see more. But, you know, coming from Ballroom, and especially with my personal journey, to see how much like the world gets to see and to see the passion and to see the stories and to know and understand where they all come from and how much it means to them. Like it brings chills to me. It's so special. I feel like without this show, the world would be missing out on so much beauty, so much passion, so much like love.
I agree.
Like for real.
I agree. No, I absolutely agree. Well, we can talk a lot about the critique and the judging, but when you watch it, you feel the love. You feel that kinship, the family.
Yes, very true.
Well, you know what? Since we put it out there to the TAM fam that we were doing a whole hour with Legendary, we've heard from people literally all over the world who love the show and wanted to talk about what it meant to them or means to them, including a super fan from Sacramento who says the show has been life-changing for her. She is Koa Kim. Koa, are you there?
I am. How are you?
Welcome to the show. So you were one of those day one babies. You've been watching the show from the very beginning. And for you, it really puts you on a quest to find community.
It did. So I've always, I first started off, the first interaction with Vogue was seeing Leiomy, Dashaun, and Prince on Vogue Evolution on America's Best Dance Crew.
Yeah.
And then those shows like Pose came along and Legendary. And so I started watching Legendary, and then it kind of like really just pushed me to find my own sense of family and community. So I went out into like the San Francisco area and found the ballroom community over there. And so now I'm a part of that, and I'm, you know, making my way through this journey and finding, you know, hopefully my family and my home soon. But I'm just taking my time and being loved on by this community. And then now it's like an annual thing with my mother that we watch the show together. And it's just like very emotional because like we especially relate with Diego Mugler's story with how his mother always supported him and loves his ballroom family. And that's how my mom loves like me and my journey. And she's just
Well, interesting enough, Diego is coming up next. But Jack, when you hear a young person say, I can talk to my mom now, my parents, I can sit and watch this and see myself. How does that feel?
It's beautiful because there was an era where that dialogue would never happen.
Right.
You know, when I go to church during the seasons of Pose and when Legendary's on, and I go to church and it's the older women who come to me like, I love the show, and when is it coming back? And I need it. And I realized, I'm like, these are the same aunties and grandmas and moms who didn't understand in the 80s, and they get it now. And it's beautiful.
Yeah, I think sometimes people need a reference point, right? Yeah. They need to see it, and so that's why representation is so important on television and in movies, so that people who people who didn't get to experience it or grow up around it or who just didn't understand it, now they can see, oh, this is actually beautiful. This is actually built off all the values that I've taught my family or that we've learned as people.
And to that point is that a lot of times there's a root and abomination that has been put into people's heads centuries ago about who we are and what comes from the community, and now we're righting that wrong with shows like this.
You're righting the wrong and writing your own story.